Good morning and welcome to Prudence Pringle's Protagonist Talk Show with me, the hostess with the mostest, Prudence Pringle. Today we are very lucky to have a wonderful panel of protagonists. Thank you. First, let me introduce from Savvy, Mibs. From the Princess Academy, Percy Jackson from the new released Son of Neptune, and from Lost and Found, twin number 1, Jay. Well, I'm sure you have lots to tell us, and I have lots of exciting questions to ask you, so let's begin. Would you please describe yourself to our live studio audience? 3 words, just 3. How would you describe yourself, Miri?
I would probably describe myself as kind, funny, and brave.
Very good, thank you. Now let's turn to Mibs from Savvy. How would you describe yourself in 3 words?
Kind, beautiful, and
how'd you feel on that big pink bus? Were you scared sometimes, or did you feel brave?
Well, I was very brave to know that I wanted to see my papa down in Sanella Hospital, and I was just I just really wanted to see him desperately in a 10-car pilot accident.
Very good, yes, I do think you were very brave in that book. Percy Jackson, you're back again in the Son of Neptune. How would you describe yourself?
Brave, loyal, and dyslexic.
Very good, very brave. I see a theme here. How about you, Jay, in Lost and Found? 3 words.
Funny. Blue and 11.
You were pretty tricky, though, weren't you? Tricky?
Yes, I was.
What kind of a trick did you pull?
Tricking everybody that I didn't have a twin brother.
Very good, yeah. That was quite a trick they pulled off, huh? Let's see. What was your greatest accomplishment? In your story, what do you think? I'm going to turn first to Percy Jackson. Everyone wants to know. What was your greatest accomplishment?
I think my greatest accomplishment was defeating the giant Polybides and saving Camp Jupiter.
It was pretty big. Yeah, how'd you pull that off?
I got a god to help me.
Smart boy. How about you, Jay? What do you think was your greatest accomplishment? Maybe we already talked about it.
My greatest accomplishment was tricking everybody. They couldn't teach us.
Was it hard to do?
Kind of.
What was hard about it? Was it confusing sometimes?
Sometimes it was confusing.
Well, how did you do it? If there was 2 of you and you only pretended to be 1 person, how did you trick everyone?
We took turns going to school, and the person who was at home stayed at home and watched TV.
Did you watch the Prudence Pringle talk show? Didn't you watch our talk show?
Yes.
Remember, 10 o'clock, live. How about you, Miri? What was your greatest accomplishment?
well, my greatest accomplishment was probably rescuing all the girls, because we all were at the academy, and the bandits came to take us hostage because they thought one of us was the new princess, only we weren't. No one had been chosen. And so we were all captured, and I knew I had to do something. And so in our village, there's this stone that we mine to get our money called Linder, and there's this sort of mind reading power that it has, that if two people are touching Linder, then you can sort of mind read a message to them with memories. And so I got the villagers, I used this to get the villagers to come and save us from the bandits.
Wow, that's girl power. Let's give her a hand. And last but not least, Kim, what was your greatest accomplishment?
My greatest accomplishment was going to Sandella on the pink Bible bus to see my papa, who's in the Sandella Hope Hospital that I mentioned earlier.
And you finally made it there, yes?
Mm-hmm.
And it took a long time, didn't it?
Yes, 3 days.
3 whole days. Wow, good. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next question, and this is very important for our audience. What advice would you give to these young ladies and gentlemen in the audience? You were such a hero and did such a great job. You talked about your accomplishments. Now, what advice would you give? I'll start with Mary this time.
I would probably advise all the people in the audience that you should never give up and you should always believe in yourself.
Very good. And Mibs, how about you?
To always face your fears and never give up.
What great advice to always face your fears. How about you, Percy Jackson? You're a brave guy.
It's not really about being brave, but in this book, I rode on the fastest horse in the world in a bumpy chariot. Never do that.
I thought that was very funny. Very good. I'll try not to do that. Jay, how about you? What's your advice to these young ladies and gentlemen?
Be brave.
So, would you say it would be a good idea to trick your teachers?
Not a good idea to treat people like that.
Good answer with your teachers sitting in the audience. Okay, so if you had the opportunity to be in another book, what book would it be and why? Let me start with Jay this time. Any book, if you'd like to be in another book. Would you like to be in another book and why? And if not, why not?
Yes, because I'm a good character and funny.
Okay. So maybe you could be in a funny book. Maybe you'd like to be in a graphic novel. Ray and Jay rule the world. Sounds catchy. How about you, Percy Jackson? We've seen you before. Will we see you again?
Probably, because the series I'm currently in is not finished yet.
Oh. Do you want to give us any sneak peeks?
No.
All right, Miri, how about you? Will we see any action from the princess again?
Well, first of all, I'm not actually a princess. My friend's the princess, though.
Oh, now you get within the book.
But anyways, I would definitely like to be in a book again because it was really fun and exciting, and everybody was happier and had a better life at the end. So.
Very good. Maybe you'll be looking for your prince in the next book. Maybe Percy Jackson? How about you, Miss?
Well, for once, I was in a more serious book. I would love to be in a comedy book, that's for sure. Just to show the funny side of me.
What a great idea! Let's give a great round of applause to our panelists. We hope to see you again. Welcome back to Prudence Pringle's Protagonist Panel Sparkly Lights Talk Show. And what a great show we have for you today. We have another panel of protagonists from new novels, and we are so lucky to introduce to you today from the very popular iRobot, Powell.
with robotics. So it has to be a little bit old because people use that in essays and papers all over the world.
Well, thank you. We have very smart panelists with us today. Okay, we look forward to learning a lot from you, Powell. Can you also please welcome Mr. Dean from the MCBA book, The Leaning Dog. Welcome. Hi. And here we have our very own superhero protagonist, Hal Jordan from the Green Lantern. I forgot that I have this to protect me.
Hey, Yellow, my ring doesn't work on Yellow.
I'll hold this close to me to protect us. And from The Ranger's Apprentice, the fourth book in the series, The Battle of Scandia, we have Will Treaty himself. Okay, protagonists, I would like you to describe yourselves in 3 words, please. I'm going to start over here with Will, the Ranger's Apprentice.
Probably strong, creative, and resourceful.
Very good.
That's
Please.
all what Rangers are supposed to do.
Very good. And Hal, Jordan, excuse me. I have my yellow.
Fearless and brave, fearless.
You have to be smart to be a superhero, don't you?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Dean.
I think I would be courageous, smart, and
Very good. And how about you, Powell?
I'm probably very courageous, smart, and kind.
All right, very good. Thank you. And now I'd like to hear about our protagonist's greatest challenge in their book. Now, each one of these characters faced great challenges. Could you tell us about your challenge, Mr. Dean?
yes, I had to go in the middle of the woods every day to hunt in the winter time. So I had to get dressed every morning and go to the woods very early.
So there's always someone at home waiting for you, is that right?
Yeah, I had a daughter, and she was trying to find a friend.
What happened to your wife?
She sadly died in a snowstorm.
That must have been a big challenge for you, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. How about you, Hal Jordan? What was your greatest challenge in the Green Lantern?
When one of our enemies used well, there are a lot of there's a lot of great challenges. Well, there was one when the Green Lantern Corps had to fight Sinestro and his Corps of Yellow.
Oh! And did he win?
I don't think so.
Oh, yellow. Very hard with yellow, right?
Yeah, yellow is the color of fear, so it's kind of the opposite emotion from, well, the Green Lanterns are will, and the yellow and the Sinestro Corps members are fear, so it's kind of opposites.
I see. And so green, that's why you're the Green Lantern.
Yeah.
I see. Very good. And how about you, Will? What was your greatest challenge in this fourth book, The Battle of Scandia?
The country I was in at the moment was attacked by the most efficient fighting force in the world at that point, the Tamujai. So it was definitely gauging. We had to fight them. You see, we had to fight the Tamujai with archers because it was the only force that the Tamujai were completely protected against. respect. I was in charge of the 100 archer slaves that we had. So even though they were promised their freedom, it was extremely hard to get them completely all revved up and ready to do this. So that was really difficult, as well as doing it in the thick of the battle.
I don't want to give away the ending, so we're not going to ask how that battle ended just yet. Maybe our live studio audience would like to read that book. Advice. Do you have advice for our young ladies and gentlemen in the audience? How about we start with Powell?
Well, my advice to you is never trust a robot. See, once I was deployed out into space to test a new model of robot. And it had this, it was an abnormality where in the new robot, it had a bunch of different fingers, or like fingers off of its hand. But they were all little robots, and he controlled them. And he would go into these states. And I'm not going to give away the ending of the story. Well, there are multiple stories in my book, but the ending of this story, because it's very exciting. And he goes into malfunctions every once in a while, and me and my partner Donovan have to find a way to fix the robot.
And you heard it here first. Never trust a robot. How about you, Green Lantern, Hal Jordan? What advice do you have for us?
Don't trust a red lantern. They'll kill you.
Wow, robots and red lanterns. Be on the lookout. How about you, Will?
Think about every decision. I was once offered the choice of being able to go into 2 different societies, which were much more influential in the government throughout in my home country. I decided to stay with the Rangers Corps though, and I really, really enjoyed that decision. It was a good one. So basically look before you leave.
Very good. It was your lifelong dream to be a knight, wasn't it?
It was.
Do you still have that dream?
I don't think so. No, my best friend is a knight, but I don't have that dream anymore.
All right, very good. And Mr. Dean, what advice do you have for us?
Well, I would say that a dog can be a very good friend for your daughter.
Very good. Yeah, it must be hard raising your daughter all by yourself.
Yeah, it was.
Very good. Okay, my last question is, will we see you again? Would you like to appear in another book? And why or why not? How about you, Hal Jordan? Will we see you again?
I think so. And in the new book called Brightest Day. Well, I think Brightest Day Part 2.
We'll look forward to that. Will?
Well, I would like to appear in another book, yes, because frankly, my story is not done. I would like very much to see Cassandra and Horace again. Horace is my best friend tonight.
And who is Cassandra?
Cassandra is the king's daughter.
Ooh. Wow, we'll have to wait for that. Ooh la la. And you, Howell, will we see you again?
Well, I've already appeared in a number of other books, but I'm hoping that there will be at least 3 more that I'll appear in, because I feel as if my audience, my readers, will be very enthralled with the different books that Isaac has come out with.
Thank you very much. And thank you to our panelists. That concludes, oh, I'm sorry, so sorry, Mr. Dean. I forgot about you, didn't I? Will we see you again?
I've been keeping my story secret to myself.
Oh, so you'll leave us with that cliffhanger today. Leave us in suspense, always wanting more, right, Mr. Dean?
Yep.
Let's have a big round of applause.
Oh no, it's record button. Okay, action.
Current born, wave flung, tugged hugely by the whole might of the ocean, the jellyfish drifts in the tidal abyss. The light shines through it, and the dark enters it. Borne, flung, tugged from anywhere to anywhere, for in the deep sea there is no compass, nearer and farther, higher and lower. The jellyfish hangs and breaks, pulses move slight, quick within it, as the vast diurnal pulses beat on the moon-driven sea. Hanging, swaying, pulsing, the most vulnerable and insubstantial creature it has for its defense the violence and power of the whole ocean, to which it has entrusted its being, its growing, and its will. But here rise the stubborn continents, the shells of gravel and cliffs of rock break from the water badly into the air, that dry, terrible outer space of radiance and instability, where there is no support for life, and now the currents mislead, and the waves betray, breaking their endless circle, to lead up and load foam against rock and air, breaking. What will the creature made all the sea drift do on the dry sand of daylight? What will the mind do each morning, waking?
Easy there. It's the radiation.
You drunk?
No.
I got something?
Sick.
What have you been taking?
I couldn't find the fit.
Meaning that he had been trying to lock the door through which the dreams came, but none of the keys had fit the lock.
Medic's coming up from the 15th floor. That did it. He's coming round. Feel horrible? Take it easy. You're out to feel horrible. Take all this at once. Lousy mixture. They're all dated this week, which means they're not all off your farm card. So I've got to report you for borrowing. So how long have you been using these drugs? Couple months. And who'd you borrow farm cards from? Friends. Got to have the names. Just one. I can't.
He borrowed my phone.
We'll feel better in 2 or 3 hours, but stand.
Ain't it great to be alive?
Good afternoon, Mr. Orr.
How do you do?
Sit down. So let's make sure we're together on your situation. HEW Control wants to know why you've been borrowing from your friend's farm cards to make more sleeping pills, right? So they recommended voluntary therapeutic treatment with me. All correct? Now, of course, I want to know why you borrowed the pills. How'd you get that started? Insomnia?
I sleep well.
But you have bad dreams?
Sort of.
Now, I'm assuming you used the phenobarb to suppress dreaming, but the drug had less and less effect. You were doing something dangerous. You were depriving yourself of dreams. Do you realize that sleep's not enough, that your body insists on having its own allotment of dreaming sleep?
I'm afraid of dreaming.
Of bad dreams?
Any dreams. I have dreams that affect the non-dream world. The real world.
We all have them.
No, I don't mean that. I mean, when I dream something, it comes true.
Prophetic.
No, I can't foresee anything. I can simply change things.
Can you give me an example?
I was 17 and my brother and sister was staying with us. I dreamed that Ethel, my mother's sister, had been killed in a car crash. Only when I got up, no Ethel in the living room. There wasn't, just my parents and me. She wasn't there. She'd never been there. I remember that Aunt Ethel had been killed in the car crash 6 weeks ago. But I also knew that she had been sleeping in the living room until last night. nobody had remembered that she had been, except me.
Why do you think your mother didn't notice that reality had changed since last night?
Well, she didn't dream it. The dream made a different reality, which she'd been a part of all along. She had no memory of any other. I remembered both because I was there at the moment of the change. I know it doesn't make any sense, but I have to get an explanation or else face the fact that I'm insane.
Don't finish it, Buzz.
I think somebody else wants to
No, I wanted to use my shoe.
want to use the car.
So, lunch lady?
And you can turn it off right now.
We're doing the lunch lady book. Well, you guys read that. I'm Hector and the bully. You know.
I'm Dee, and the
I'm
boys.
Terrence. The reason I'm Terrence is because in the book he has glasses
And at the end of the school day, the breakfast bunch packed up their things.
Dee, I don't know why you care so much about the school readathon.
Yeah, especially with the new Xbox 360 game system coming out in a few days.
Hector, not everyone's life revolves around electronics. Come on, we're stopping by the school library.
Isn't the library closed while they set up for the book fair?
Terrence, as always, it's easier to ask for forgiveness than it is to ask for permission. Besides, I intend to win this readathon.
Anyways, it's gonna be the coolest game ever.
Totally, the graphics are awesome.
Hey Dee,
What do you want, Milma?
I hear you trying to win the readathon.
Yeah, and what's it to you?
Reading for geeks.
Not reading is for losers.
Speaking of losing, Hector, be prepared to let me borrow your Xbox 360 once you buy it. See you around, Breakfast Bozos.
Good one, Milma.
He is such a mean person.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, you were in it.
Whoa.
Yeah, we do need that. So our book was The Penderwicks at Point Way, which is the third book in a series. So we're going to introduce our characters and give a little bit of background information before we start our performance. So I will be playing Rosalind, who is the oldest of the four Penderwick sisters, and she's very protective and motherly towards her older siblings, as their mother died when she was like 8, so she's always sort of been taking care of her older sister. I'll be playing Sky, who is the second oldest Penderwick. I think she's 12, and she loves math and stars and soccer.
I'm Jane, and I'm 10. I'm the third oldest sister. I have a big imagination, and I want to be a writer when I grow up. So right now, I'm reading Sabrina Starbucks. Well, writing Sabrina Starbucks.
And I'm Batty, the fourth youngest Penderwick sister, and I love this family dog. Our family, it's a big black dog, Hound, and our cat Asimov, and yeah. Okay, so when our story begins, the three youngest Penderwicks are heading off to Maine with their aunt because their dad and stepmother and her son Ben, they're all going off to England, and Rosalind's going to New Jersey, but then they're going to Maine. And so they're really nervous about this because Sky is going to be the oldest available Penderwick sister.